Yeah, and so the other movie that I watched today was Animal Farm 1999, voiced by Kelsey Grammer and a bunch of other actors and actresses. I don't know their names, but I've seen the 1999 Animal Farm movie multiple times, like when I was a kid, a couple times, teenager. And for some reason, I just had a bug up my ass this morning. Like it was like 6 in the morning, and I was just me and my grandpa were up. He kept waking me up because we were having to go to a doctor's appointment, and he was stressing out about it. So I just put on a movie just to calm everybody down and just relax. And for some reason, I just decided to put on Animal Farm again, the 1999 one, the one with the animatronics and even the mix of real animals and everything. Oh my God, it was a masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. I mean, Animal Farm doesn't get enough credit. It doesn't get enough, and yeah, it's not Disney level animation. It's not Disney level stuff, but I would take Animal Farm 1999 over maybe half of the Disney movies that were ever created. I mean, there's just more intellectual depth in it. It's way more. It's very clever how they used the animals, and it seems like a child's movie, but they intertwine these serious adult themes of tyranny, fascism, communism, and if you read Animal Farm and you know some of the history of where Orwell got his ideas, like how he based off of the revolutions, like there was even one reference in the movie where they were making a holiday on October, and I'm like, I think they're referencing the October Revolution holiday that they used to celebrate from the October Revolution that Lenin had, right? I'm pretty sure, and there were the pigs, and the pigs were a representation of so many things, but I think specifically maybe um, I think the pig named Snowball that was played by Kelsey Grammer, who's Frasier. If you're not familiar with that, Frasier, who was on Cheers, the sitcom, and had his own running show. I love Kelsey Grammer. I think Kelsey Grammer is another guy who doesn't get enough credit, and all the projects that he works on seems to get kind of poo-pooed, like Boss seasons 1 and 2, and then they cut off season 2 like that. Like, for why? That show was really picking up some good steam. Kelsey was really at his game on that. I think it should have been a season 3 at least. And that was 2014 though, so that's just not a new thing. But yeah, anyway, I think the animal that Kelsey Grammer was playing was Snowball, and Snowball genuinely like wanted to educate the animals, and he wanted them to live equally, and he had this whole like idealism about it. And the bad pigs, who I think were like Lenin and Stalin, Napoleon was the main pig, and well, at first it starts off with Major. Major is this old pig, and he's dying, and he starts off the movie with a speech about how man is must be defeated, and he created these rules, right? Like we cannot be like men. Commandment number one: you shall not sleep in the bed. You shall not eat like a man. You shall not walk on 2 feet like a man. 4 feet only. Like he created all these commandments to make them stay as pure animals and to not become greedy. Oh, there was one that was says do not trade, stuff like that. I think the old pig that died really quickly, like in the beginning of the movie, I might be wrong about this, but I think he was a representation of Karl Marx. I'm pretty sure, because if it was about the Russians at the time when Orwell was writing it, then it would be like Karl Marx was the foundation and the start of the Russian Revolution, the Marxist Revolution, and that's when they were killing the czars, and they were promising all these things to the people, and it didn't turn out that great. We all know, um, and as we see in Animal Farm, but I think Animal Farm, just like Braveheart, is extremely universal in its concepts. While it could be historically talking about the Russians and making fun of them and using them as a metaphor to make a point, I saw a lot of similarities in today's times in the messaging of Animal Farm. I mean, how where there's a part where once the Snowball gets exiled, Frasier, he gets exiled, and the bad pigs, they start taking like Jessie, who is the dog. She's like a kind of, she's sharp. She's not buying everything she's seeing, and she's like the nice one and the main character. she has puppies at one point, and Napoleon like steals her puppies and never allows her to see her own puppies again. And they come back later on because it turns out that the pigs indoctrinated through their educational system to just do the bidding of the pigs, and they became like their kind of like guard. And they even went after the mother at one point, you know, not that they killed her, like they just went after the mother. And which I think is pretty symbolic. I mean, you see stuff like that still happen in today's times. Now the children, it's not like that we you separate from the parents and live your life separately. There's been kind of a formation of almost hating where you came from now. Like people seem to hate their origins. They seem to hate the people that raised them, and they denounce. Yeah, Rosie was here the whole time too. Rosie, say hello to the camera. Say hello to the camera, Gooby. Speaking of Animal Farm, right? Here's one of the stars, right? And Jessie, the main character dog, she was like a Australian Shepherd, you know, but her face looks just like Rosie here, and her eyes are like Rosie, you know. And what I love about the movie is there's animatronics like for the pigs and stuff, but for the dogs and the horses and some of the stuff when they're moving their mouth when they talk, it's clearly like 1990s CGI. So it's not the greatest CGI, but it works, and I love it a lot. And I believe it or not, but like the pigs reminded me of a mixture of the Democrats and a mixture of even the Republicans with some of the stuff that they were saying. I think it goes to show you that it's not about left or right. Like power is just power. Like it corrupts you. And you know, you all famously know the saying like all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And they brilliantly did that in the movie. It was I think it was a great, one of the best adaptations. And I know there's a 2D animation for Animal Farm, but this is my favorite because I love the use of the animatronics. It's not Jim Henson level stuff. I don't think it was Jim Henson who did it, no. But I think it was great it was obviously a low budget film. You had a couple of big actors in it, like Kelsey Grammer, and the farmer that they kicked out was an actor, you know him. He was the guy who was in, have you ever seen Kill the Irishman? And there was Fergie, the guy that Ben Affleck found out. Fergie, he drugged up his mother when she was young, and she overdosed, and Fergie was like using Ben Affleck's father, and then he was using Ben Affleck to rob all these banks, and that guy Fergie was the farmer in this, so that was pretty cool too. He's not a big actor, but when you see his face, you know who I'm talking about. And what was fascinating too, like it was a critique on communism and a critique on capitalism and a critique on power in general. So there's all these promises being made for the animals, and then eventually they all have to work while the pigs end up living in the house where the humans lived, and the pigs are acting like the humans. They're going against the commandments of Major, and then they start trading with the humans. The pig Napoleon, he makes like these backdoor deals with this businessman who's been doing these deals with Napoleon. And I think it was a metaphor for, at the time, if you know a little bit of the Russian history, Trotsky and Lenin, their revolution, like, it was funded. And the question is, who funded the Russian revolutions, the Marxist revolutions of the 1900s, 1917? And you could find traces of J.P. Morgan and a few American banks. American banks funded the Russian revolutions. You could find that. And we didn't just fund Russian revolutions. We also funded the Nazis. You could find that Germany was funded pretty heavily by American banks. I forgot which ones it was. Hitler got some money from the American banks, which is very funny. But they show this in Animal Farm because at one point when Napoleon, they're not getting enough food, and then Napoleon starts making these like dirty trades so he could get more whiskey and he could get more for himself. And he's doing it with an American, like not an American, like an English businessman. But I think the English businessman that he was making the deals with was a representation of the American businessman who was making the deals with these Russians when they knew what all the horrible things that they were doing to their people. And it's like what's going on in today's times. It's not much different. And I could go into more detail on that. I think I'm being clear enough on what I'm saying about that. It's very interesting. I find this stuff very interesting. And I'm just speaking on a historical sense. And if you disagree or if you have another source or idea, like feel free to share it. I don't care. Like I want you to talk about this stuff. I think it's very interesting. It's very important. And yes, I know I make everything a joke on my titles because I'm just going for the absurd and just trying to get attention at this point. And hopefully, if you could see through the absurdity, you could see my videos are pretty, not super serious, but like I do like to talk about some deep stuff. So if you could cut through my absurdity, you could see that I have something to offer, or at the very least, something for us to talk about once in a while. Um, so yeah, like Animal Farm 1999, absolutely beautiful, and again, I was tearing up at some of the parts on that. Another movie with very nice music, and very very good choreography with the animals, like very well done. Whoever did that, I mean, bravo to you. Like that was, even though there was animatronics in there was plenty of scenes with actual animals being directed to do what they had to do to make the movie. I mean that. Why does this movie not get any attention? It should be a movie for not only people who love George Orwell's work or history. It should be a movie for animal lovers. Animal lovers. It is a fantastic animal movie, and how they make the animals act. So, yeah, guys, that's all I'm gonna say. That was my Braveheart and animal rant today. Another long video. I'm sorry. I really had to get into this. I just love this stuff. If you got any more to add about Animal Farm, feel free, guys.